3 yetwa enkomo no so yehwe an inauguration course. So in fact 2 inaugurations, the inauguration of the 9th parliament and the inauguration of the president and the vice president. And yedianye die chiri fitia najo ekopima hemachi bisi na awie nkomo no akoso. It's been a beautiful ceremony sene dwumedie no ekoso no. In terms of parliament, we didn't see so much of acrimony. Ewo emrashe bedwafie ho na mentimi ho aseketu bi ne bae, but then also kra na enye big deal bia sa omo manage no competently. Yankwanko hunu ni see in the 8th parliament no ebie. Ene yakoyenim amene yede His Excellency John Dramani Mahama tena konwa no so as the President of the Republic of Ghana. And afin so Professor Jenano Pukwajiman, the Vice President of the Republic. And Koma Yebabi Dino Efa the legislature, the 9th Parliament, and then anymore. It's say the 8th Parliament was unique. Nebin Sida. Say Yebawo a hang Parliament. Na independent candidates and ebe make the difference. And so you send sa Parliament no ekoye. Any where the balance of power ewo mrashe bedwafie tilted to the green side. Ahode ni nyina kogina NDC for no side. Na eno no kira ewo nsunsuanso no de bebre. Na wono nso ayedom kuma no. Womo nso dodo no enya de a ebetimi apusu majority for no nso bebre. Inti no parliament no eba be yese a walk in the park ama NDC for and yomu pebi yomu be ana. And what kind of opposition ena yebehunu ni ebehwe animo. Join me na yendisa enkomwe in the studio. Clement Akolo, or a communications officer, Parliamentary Network Africa. Mr. Akolo memoaha emo afishiapa
meje osuminya
na apomu so te sen
nyankopon adom yegyina ye ho ye
do ba de ase
Yesu de ache ye ho ye
de nyame ase papa. First of all, energy media course no for you as a parliamentary watcher and mechanism, a student of parliamentary proceedings and modemoni di not just Ghana's parliament but parliaments in Africa into you have a very broad picture of sending Niama Kosum na Shebe few muni adia. And Neju media course, so the inauguration of the president and the vice president, no, assessment be saying.
Yo, me that's very. I think say our democratic credentials, no, across ye pa. Utimun say what we have been touting ourselves with as the hub of democracy on the African continent, and then yasha ashemukina. Utimun say we have actually lifted the bar because we had the course of parliament right from the inauguration of the members of parliament, the election of the speaker, coming to the inauguration of the vice president, and the president. Now, what you say, and the way you even saw the presidents clamoring to come and join us do the whole ceremony, what you say.
Because this is about the highest number of heads of states are by such an inauguration.
Yes. It will say so the black star that we lifted some time ago. It will say even in the speech of the
Tinubu, president of Nigeria,
he mentioned it. Say,
but that was quite striking.
Very, very striking. You see, we are not the biggest country on the African continent, but when it comes to this political leadership now, they defer to us. Say, we sowed some seed some years ago with Kwame Nkrumah and his people, and we have taken that leadership up till now. And now, what has gone on within this short period, including today, has actually cemented that. And I think that we should keep it going the way we have done. Just that we shot ourselves a bit in the foot last 4 years with the inauguration of the 8th Parliament. But with this one, we have brought it up to speed once more. And I think that we should be proud of ourselves as Ghanaians. And going forward, we should know that we hold a very important space when it comes to Africa, when it comes to democracy. And we must nurture it and ensure that it blossoms to cover the entire continent of Africa.
What's John Dramani Mahama? Anything in particular standing out or the speech in Mwawana?
So you made a point about him calling on the voice of the people to be sounding loud and clear, and which was similar to what the
former president,
the past president said. And it's very, very important. For us as civil society organization, we are very much on the side of the people.
Okay.
Rather not on the side of, let's say, the governance system. What we try to do is to make sure they see things from the side of the people. So when the president invites the voice of the people like that, President Tunsafre Timamufuo no say omun ka mamu no ho a na nije bebre. Nti no once what through such challenge we na what turn Safre and said na wo ka no, there shouldn't come a point where I say yensem ekeka omasum na afi na koye say they lord it over us. If the verdict of the election anything to go by, it should be a learning curve for all of us. He himself, former president, he has been there before. He was shown the proclamative power because of some of the things that we have repeatedly seen in the government of Nana Akufo-Addo. Now that he's come back, we hope say Sanyamano will not repeat itself. So one of the things that was very, very striking for me is that particular statement. And then again, also the youth have become part, the greatest part of our generation now. It's, I can't say, na something will have to be done. He has no choice. Actually, the older generation now, we have no choice than to make sure, we set them right. So if you say that we are resetting the nation, we should be thinking of resetting the mind as well to make sure, we are creating jobs for them, making them comfortable enough to believe that this life is worth living for them, and this country is actually for them. It's, if we don't do anything now to put them right, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. I say, and I will say, now very soon, Obego, Ogua, Nipana one chain, now one Janet, then no person yama.
Ono so ntimi nye hwe ma.
Now we would the be mobile say there. So I was happy say he mentioned that. Yes. And then the 24-hour economy. Me the woman said, you see, a Greek for me is very, very, very important. Any country that we are yo. Obia or per se, there's no country.
Or maybe
anywhere what to point without taking advantage of a QIO. So, or mentioning here in attachment to the 24-hour economy, I thought it was a smart move. If only because I've been asked elsewhere, say, if you had one thing that you would tell this particular administration and the president, what would be that advice? And I've always said, the president should take the opportunity to make farmers rich.
Okay.
Yeah, a Kuafo at the four. Like make them yes, deliberate.
Okay.
Momuya at the four. So me can say yes, you can make a QR without enriching the farmer.
The farmer.
Because over the years, ye cocoa aye. And na cocoa no one na ye ekuafo.
No correct.
Nanso we know say ekuafo have not been
Rewarded enough.
enough.
Omo bre no yen shed da omunya so mfaso.
Kra it man nye ekuani no ba no kra ye it doesn't appeal to him.
Yeah.
Say he will go into it. But say uma ekuani no ne ho to no. Na uma ne richer. You have started a revolution of the economy.
Interestingly, President Mahama can say ekuani.
Yes.
Now we heard the documentary in the farms of all the northern parts. I mean, very huge mechanized farm.
Yes.
Until he understands it.
Because now omo papa was into that.
Yeah.
It oma ekuafo no enye sika. How do you do that? Guarantee prices for them. And you can use the state machinery, purchasing power to do that easily. Because you have mouth to feed when it comes to school. You have all kinds of things to do. It's to me the state power no abwa ekuafo.
Because Ohekrana, as a foundation kakra wo ho, we have a buffer store company. I bet me store excess food. You will commodity exchange market and if the phones bit me akwa advertise omu nnuane wo ho na omwetimi apeche for a better price. Until that opportunity is there. But ususu said die ntina abanya hodo are failing in making ekuafo rich.
So the deliberateness is not there.
Okay.
So we are being
What sheda?
Because if the deliberateness is there, say
Any swadi hunu.
Why should we be here? Yabewo Ghana. Look at our land, how fertile it is.
Yeah.
Look at the water that we have.
Yeah.
Echogu, epumu free. Na ye be free ha. Na ya call baby to say Burkina Faso.
Could you tomatoes?
Say you could talk tomatoes ni nyama na de aba be fidi ho. We go from here to Niger just to go and look for onions. And yet rocket science to grow tomatoes. Now say here Burkina Faso for omu ba this inauguration the military people no. Recently I just saw some mechanized farming that they've done. Now here tomatoes are here and how it has been properly arranged. And you see the size of the tomatoes. They have free.
Yeah.
You don't use dollar to
grow tomatoes.
What it will rather do is that it will reduce your import
reliance
burden
on dollar. Yeah.
and it's on the ground free of charge. If you do that, you are going to reduce the pressure on your economy. At the same time, you are creating jobs and you are guaranteeing yourself that statement now Timamu 4 years say the country is hard, hard, Sometimes no reduce so the pressure on your shoulders comes down because you are growing to feed yourself, to feed everybody. Masa said dokuno ebu etimi move from the current 5 cedis ni nyama ne babeye 1 cedi. Masa, would we shout like that?
Debbie.
Because you are growing maize enough to feed your people. Very soon you reduce all the pressures on yourself. Very soon you get people who will start thinking, say, hey, what can I do? They will now start thinking about how to mechanize it. If they don't have all the equipment and the know-how here, they start linking up with people to import the technology.
But what people are thinking about, because President Mahama, in relation to the 24-hour economy, or dwelling heavily on agriculture, now people are struggling to wrap their minds around that concept and say, how does agriculture fit into a 24-hour economy concept? Because it don't address minim so be a greenhouse technology and maybe a one can you may be able to enter your farm, but largely see I said 24-hour economy how will the ninth bit support Kuayoni agriculture? The phone lines not here. Kofo were trying to wrap their minds around it. Who saying?
Say we are looking at it on a very simple when we start so you start growing the things. Let me just use, let's say, tomatoes. You are growing it. You now have a glut. You have plenty. Now you go into mechanization, right?
Okay.
Mechanization, you are going to have a factory. The factory, you are going to maybe can the tomatoes and
add
do
some
all
value.
these things plenty.
Okay.
What it means is that you are now, once you start the mechanization, and yet on the farm anymore. Now you have moved from the farm to.
Okay, so Metawasia, the farming itself need the daytime,
Yes.
But the feeding industry, can now go into the night. Into then ubet factories are agro processing 24 hours.
Yes.
If there is a glut and I say farms are not able to produce more.
More.
Okay.
Because you have created the market, there's outlet there. And even on the farm, if you have big enough farm, it means you need more hands to do it.
That's right.
So if we are harvesting, and the farm is as big as from here to, let's say, Kanishi, you have some people doing it up to a point. You have maybe 4-hour intervals or 8-hour intervals. They do it up to a point. Some people will continue from there up to a point. You're getting it. So, and not just the night.
Okay.
But something will have to be done. And sometimes, say, who harvesting now, there are other processes that you don't do on the farm.
Okay.
Maybe you come cleaning it, washing it, and all those things. If you are in an enclosed,
sorting out of
an enclosed space, if it's in the night,
you can
come and do that part of it. By the time there will be light. Other people are going onto the farm. Other people maybe they cannot be on the farm, and disable. There's a term for it. People living with disability, that cannot be on the farm, can also be doing the sorting and all those things. So you are creating a cycle of job, meaningful, people can make money out of. The world is so big, and there are so many things we have here that we can export outside.
And it's interesting how or share the global picture. Now, what they heard the domestic issue in terms of the way the G7 nations and in terms of their GDP, almost figures form. Rather, you see BRICS nations, almost figures improving, and they are controlling the world's GDP and the world's trade and market and everything. Until now, Obusase Ghana in place in the midst of global changes are and saying, what's in the speech in the initial bit of the speech, now or her beyond Ghana or her the global phenomenon about sub-region. Ofo said, where was he trying to get to with that direction of fire?
Ushema, there are so many places that we can plug our economy into. Now, Ushema, we have cocooned ourselves into some particular space for a long time. You see, your economy, how do you call it? Cocoa, cocoa.
Raw material economy.
Gold. And even the gold that we are doing, we are not doing the adding value to the gold. So we are selling it as a raw material to other countries. Other countries have been innovative about the things that they do. And it is getting them even more money than we are having. Look at Rwanda. Rwanda, they were...
just from a genocide.
Yeah. Because Niswadi Hunubi Woho Emanipana, they were able to catapult themselves from nowhere to somewhere. And now we can sit here in Ghana comfortably and refer to Rwanda as a masterpiece, a place to learn or to see something that is worth emulating. There are so many things a bit me. Now, what I'm coming to say, I'm not going to demean anybody's ideas, but it's just a thought that we have been. It's a good thing, but we have been tricked into thinking, say, when you use those terms, it makes you better off. Like you're saying, we want to plug into the
digital market,
and all those things. But let's look at it critically. When we talk about those digital things and those apps and all those things,
technology,
those apps need websites, need Sanemano. Where is the source? Because if you have a website right now, where do you your hosting?
Okay.
Where is it? Is it in this country?
Not at all.
It is somewhere else.
Yeah.
Those apps, what actually powers them? It's free. So it's like Yamao Chobi. The eyes are not there. So they give you pencil, you paint here, you paint here, you paint here, and then you say you have created something. Well, as I said, we should go beyond, because the person who is propping you up, the person who is propping up that website, that app, and all those things, he decides to pull the thing under your feet, and you have nothing.
Until you drive towards sustainability, like self-sustenance in terms of technology, where we will own Yankasa in technology, and is that the advocacy?
So you are leveraging on it, but don't make that your. It's like the new thing. That's where we are moving to, and that's where we are pushing our youth into. So into the future, it's like you are driving us to a point where it is not sustainable going forward, as compared to getting your people dealing with the basic of the things, like going into agriculture, finding their own feet there. Now start innovating and looking at the loopholes and what they can do. Me are depending on. Because generally speaking, I always say, if you want to grow any nation and have a sustainable economy, you can't take agriculture out of it.
All.
And when you go into the Bible, what Joseph did for Egypt, it started with agriculture, where they grew enough maize, had a lot of storage of it, and then from there they started growing a lot of wealth for themselves.
Feeding other nations.
Yes. So if we want to do the same, and fortunately for us, there were opportunity. Almost around there, if you so to around us, say we Ghanaians, we are not satisfied with what we have, but so we go around the kakra, say you will need kakra. It's if say you play a cast well,
a bit
say at least we can be pushing it out there.
You heard domestic politics na ensem bia President Kafa the political opponents. Some have said he sounded very reconciliatory. Ne ensem wo Kafa President Kufuor as a colleague on the core parliament the same year 1996. How Omunina Komu as vibrant young men ne omo grew together in politics. Abiduha talked about the fact that omo challenge omo on 3 occasions, and I don't know how that came across to you there, but for a party omo a campaigning on the back of accountability na womo eni abrese abanya wokui omo wieska omo ye corrupt. And there is a concept called ORA, Operation Retrieve All Looted Assets and all of that. What see some of the callers now, Omufreya, Omaninje sa camaraderie na no pese or exhibit no, and that sportsmanship na pese or exhibit no. But where do you think Sena or co with Sakasano and his observation of the key political opponents, the effect in Sweden?
that aspect of the speech was very touching for me.
Wow.
It was very touching, and it was tactful. And I think, say, people should not misconstrue it. Me say, I didn't think, say, it was to compromise on the principle, the principle of demanding accountability. But I think the effect was to make sure, say, we bring ourselves together. Yes, but now people, we need to run a nation. And running a nation, maybe some people didn't vote for you. By all means, there must be opponents.
Yeah.
Because in this life, say when ya obi amano a opposua, we feel say unkwa na wo nya sacho but unya obi no opposu no kan sam che say masa de o yi akoye ni say ya anka beboa. It helps you say also be down. So I think say they now opeso ye nyina na say ye nyina ye nipa ba ko. Ghana it belongs to all of us.
Yeah.
You may have gone left or right, but at the same time, you know, you perceive your core baby back. So my enka ya humbo. I think say anka ya cry ya nchima no. Ya nchima ubia say there's a clear wrongdoing to the nation. Somebody must answer for something. Now see you know ya down for from yen collaborate me they are chow and I say we mean your shit. Yours will be worse because if Ghanaians feel a certain perception about a wrongdoing and they have given you the opportunity to ensure that that wrongdoing is not done any longer, it doesn't mean say per se the other person now between they are not saying say that particular person like we don't like it, but we like it.
There be.
No, that is not the impression.
Yeah.
The impression is that this particular thing
it
is a impedia. We are agreeing with you to come and make sure say periperio ebeba honum. So no matter how collaborate friends and all those things, the accountability must come in. Otherwise, or no, by the time leaving office in 4 years, the verdict on him will be worse. Because what it will mean is that what's alpha will be at this one at the account with the because you didn't see say the can say any well who sa and our fa and all the account with the it means that we crowd the end a chain so I believe said the oral.
Now, Ontofo said he wasn't being overly friendly, and
no, I don't think
Ebisu say he was being overly friendly. I say soft spot to be a bemu. Anybody they be pray to me, and all of a sudden,
oh say, oh to me now.
Yeah.
I say Nyankopon. Nyankopon they be to me no ni. Oh to me ni nebi.
Oh to me adi ni na.
Na. Ba ye kra ne hwana. I be to me ni na kasa.
Yeah.
Why crying? Now, so he comes down because he has the power to do all that he has, all that he wants to do. See, I know 2 million about beginning ho. In terms of a giddy beam, as I saw a oroshi beam. It's in see, I know there or say or person or yeno. Yes, I know, say, we are minia. Me way. If I take the stroke, I can strike you at any time I want. You can't escape me. No, you are poisoning the nation right from beginning. So I believe, say, it was a diplomatic touch.
Okay.
We are also not saying, say, Sankophone. It could be an allegation. Maybe there are no.
There's no evidence.
Evidence. So you don't also want to go there and be doing things without a. So if there is evidence, then show us the evidence and do what happens to those who
do such things.
Do such things. If you don't do that, then say Ghanaians' verdict on you much worse than what we have seen.
And that brings us to 4 in the PM. Opinion meaning Clement Akolo, or communications officer, Emma Parliamentary Network Africa, a civil society organization. wo manage governance ho, and in terms of governance no more particular focus and interest no a parliamentary governance, and you need to come na ya picking the thoughts on senior ohunu jumedia e course ne ene the 9th parliament eda yanimu na yehwe animu emfiri ho. I think say yentinsi ho na yehwe emrahye bedwafie so nkomo no. I think say wadwuma o ye de oni me enyina yesi depend ran adwo monitoring how the 8th parliament will be dissolved. Na yede ewura the 9th parliament no emu. How did you see that transitioning?
So the 8th parliament, as you said earlier on, a very unique parliament. Person used to treat no by unique no. Dance right from beginning. A parliament, the numbers were at par. One independent separating them. The speaker is
opposition.
From opposition. That's the first time it is happening. We have never had a hung parliament before. The political parties all the time they have a working majority. So overwhelming they have a working majority. But this time we had some kind of difficulty. We had some mixed feelings about how this particular parliament was going to pan out. And lo and behold, right from beginning, we started seeing some signs of tension and all those things. But you felt to say, as time goes on, it will work. But we will say it has been a very good experiment for us, for Ghana. But at the same time, we think that we have not taken advantage of all the opportunities that it gave to us.
The 8th parliament.
The 8th parliament. It was a good experiment.
But the 8th parliament is
yes.
Okay.
Because the previous parliament, it earned some kind of image for itself. We call them toothless bulldog, rubber stamp, and all those things. The Indian from say they could not assert themselves because of certain things are a war, let's say a constitution, and even the posture of the speakers that were superintending over them, and then the posture of the executive itself. Na emo muntimi engine ho na ema se executive ne ba bibia opese ode fa parliament bia no omasha the majority is able to go through. But this one you were 137 and one independent. And even on the day of the voting, you could not trust even the members.
Exactly.
So some moved from this side to be able to join the minority to how do you call it? Elect the speaker from an opposition. The same way about approving some of the ministers and all those things. You expected, say, Anka the minority, based on the normal and what Ghanaians were expecting. And some of the ministers will be thrown out outright. But they got some people from the other side to also go here, which means if they had a free hand and the opportunity now, the members of parliament will make rational decisions.
Okay. The influence is not free
from the political parties.
Okay.
The whip system.
The whip system.
Yes. Yeah. Because if they get the opportunity to have secret ballots all the time, they are rational. They would think about it. Take the consideration of their constituents and what people are saying into consideration and what they genuinely feel. But because of the whip system and all those things, it becomes difficult for them to do. So the opportunity.
But Parliament is a very partisan area, Nambwa.
Yes, it's the highest forum for
partisanship,
political discourse, and partisanship. And the politics, is a better way of doing things, of development. So, honumna, we cross-fertilize ideas. Me say, baby I kono, yemfa ne kwan we, and ne papa. And I also say, yemfa ha. So that's why we are doing the politicking, trying to ensure, say, we will compromise on a decision on a way that will go. Sometimes I can be very strong about my ideas. You too can be very strong about your ideas. That's where the tension comes in. But the highest forum for that discourse is Parliament. So sometimes the partisanship comes in because we have an interest as a political party. You too, you have an interest as a political party. But we have to understand, say, when we cross-fertilize ideas, we have to let go and compromise on an issue. That is where we missed it when it comes to the 8th Parliament.
Okay.
Because of previous ways of doing things in Parliament, we always get our way. So that ability to reach out to the other person, to the other side, and say, okay, this is my point. So this is your point. Can we
meet each other halfway,
and then move forward? Because it's not about you and me. It's about the nation. Because you are fremo, not because of you, your interest alone. But a whole lot of people have gathered and voted for one person because 30 million and over. So when you go there, you are speaking on our behalf. So after we have done all our debate, that's why the speaker will leave them to debate. And in Parliament, you have the right to speak, air your voice. But at the long run, we will take a decision, one decision. So they should have learnt this thing quickly so that they will move on. But they have used the whole 4 years to banter each other up to this time.
To the extent that a card anka Abainwe will struggle to pay salaries of government workers for the first quarter.
Yes.
All because of our politics in here. We say, Wame Mame and granted tax waivers there. Mesumim Wama approve a budget debate to our workers. And we got to the brink of it.
Yes. We got to the brink of it, and that underscores some of the opportunities that we didn't see. But we are hoping, we have learned. Because the 8th Parliament also gave us the opportunity to see what is possible under this constitution. The permutations were there.
Okay.
Because in the near future, we can have a government with a minority party in Parliament.
Yeah.
We now
executive power. And so-called parliament are
in the minority. So in that
case,
will
also be an interesting scenario.
In that case, yes. So in that case, our political parties, this is an opportunity. That's why we say that it was an opportunity. If it had not happened now, and we get into this is the third decade as parliamentary democracy for the Fourth Republic. If we get to the 60th decade, and before some of these things are coming in, you realize that we'll get there and you need
experience.
That experience. So it means that the leaders that we are churning out, the political parties and all those things, should now be thinking about people who have certain qualities to draw the others on, to share the idea and to understand exactly where we are. Say, you don't have all the ideas in your head. So when you go there at the discussion table, what you are trying to do is enrich your ideas that you are bringing. You are the government in power. You have the mandate to run the country. But there is Parliament. There are people who are also there. They are not toys, they are not machines, they are there to participate in nation building. So how do I do how say na minimum be ejuma you don't go there and trying to lord it over
and
them.
I heard the member my next question because we had parliament now was here this 9th parliament. It appears that temptation is me lord things over people no. And I'm quite surprised to say in the 8th parliament, Abaina Wokono, in spite of the hang nature of 8th parliament, still no so bet me a lot of things over parliament, and that's where the opposition happened that almost fighted things like 11 proposals a hold almost the buy. But then with the 8th parliament, NDC were overwhelming majority. When ya
that is the 9th parliament.
The 9th parliament. So when ya 4 independent candidates no cry new business cry na obetimi aye adwuma. Isn't there that tendency say but the numbers so no be ye ne me pe because say very repeal your friend is saying betting tax you be repeal e-levy. They have the numbers.
98.9.
How do you see this 9th parliament with senior numbers in it here? We share minority for Edrana Jono. I saw an opposition here, woman also, but it appears so Oman no be dimpa in this 9th parliament. Who's our 9th parliament we saying?
That is where the trap is for this incoming government. A trap.
A trap one.
And when you look at all the governments that have come, have gotten some working majority, their first term, they get it. By the time they get to the second term, now a sunshine.
Okay.
So it's a trap that they fall in all the time. I hope that this time they will not fall in that trap.
Okay.
So they have to be responsible with their majority. At this time. Responsible with their majority.
Yes, so baby, be no numbers in inti.
No, and we are thinking, say, the 8th parliament have taught them something. You have to always negotiate. You see, smart leaders go and negotiate before even they come. You see, they negotiate. They know where they can push and where they cannot push. You see, so when they come and they are doing the discussion and the debate, they already know where they can go hard and where they can go soft. You have to know how to collaborate with the people. Now you have overwhelming majority. It doesn't mean, say, when you go there, no, you should. Ghanaians, they are just looking at you. You see,
because no case say minority phone can make the majority very unpopular.
Yes.
Depending on issues, sebebane post channel approach or be decided nechi.
Yes. And that is what we are looking for. What we say, the minorities, they are not there for themselves. They are there representing us as Ghanaians. It's in so they are there in the bar. He has 2 tasks, or perhaps 3. 1, to give alternative ideas. 2, to show himself as worthy alternative.
Okay.
Because also person oba
it's a reserve player be a pay or prefer selection.
Yes, also person oba ho. It's on betanse e ma won fan totroto.
Okay.
So and they have to speak on behalf of the people. So they have these 3 tasks to perform as a minority,
to be seen as yakasama or mindful.
Yes.
And I feel so say alternative ideas beba. And the 3rd one is say beg position who say or a better alternative into the next election amount for her on the direction. Into nema me ensa we see minority for
so ding. So knowing this, no, what are we
majority no.
Majority no. What should you do? You have to be smart about that. You have been in opposition before.
Yeah.
But sometimes, so on your majority now, so a smart majority will push these buttons. Will push the buttons and you self-destruct. Obama amount for who said we get infinity. And when you see the posture of Afenyo Marking, he has already started pushing that button. It is a one-year majority leader. A government that is forward-looking, you always fall into that trap.
And the number can say, it be a majority for no, okay, who game plan did that because I know I saw her. Yeah, now my expectation is Akwetia MP na injunction edano sono. Now my suspicion is majority for no, any minority for no be train a whole direct pa. Because this is the case ya serve parliament the injunction say won't participate in the selection of a speaker and even hold himself as the MP elect and all of that. But my majority for now, Oman Shadam put up a spirited opposition. Omo kaka krebia when we ya no mujane sa. And even regarding the issue about the nomination of the speaker, say Emrane say you nominate speaker na e ono kwa no bia nka no ho in terms of CBA ya nominate nipa mienu na nipa ba ko ne nominate na Emrane say obe approve obe second or meko a onye remarks
yes
ana wonye debate bia wo ho. But Enra afenyo marking went beyond in spite of your claim running nyina kire no still or yes so no obe remarks and even went into debating issues and you letters by refer to and there be near there but who have majority for no so opposition no mu puti up no na nya ade ano ohye omo kan ye clerk na nkasa de ne nansi ho na bibi ajoye. Is that to say this majority I realize that trap now walk no and the minority indeed clearly are bent on pushing them to the wall to make them unpopular?
Yes, sometimes they say force them to play nonsense.
Okay. Parliamentary Shabedo.
Force them to play nonsense. And Afenyo Marking in his games that he plays as a lawyer and all those things, and he's going to play that game. And I think say one of the
and not to me say was shut down.
Yes. Was shut down.
Because we are the nya na obubu na ni kire majority for say. As obi o say obi a onima de o onim say de o ye na enye enso so o ye.
Because them I can say that minority in so. Yeah. They have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Minority has nothing to lose. One here ni yemu a umu na obepra. I say once that anonam ukru so do rough no wa pono diafra wa ukru ubu wi a na obo say no ko ye je.
So who fly once na hu before abri ukru.
Yes. It you know to answer the point whether minority no omo hu I'm still studying.
Okay.
The reason why me kind of clear and say the majority no they have not constituted their
leadership yet. Okay.
It's you know, according say omo no, they don't want to
overdo things.
Yes, and muddy the waters too much. Because
will be also any chance.
Yes, will be a any chance. It be an yeah, and no crying no. Ne akasi chale akwa we kra ne kukunye. Ti no man fa and share. But the temptation comes when you have been made the substantive.
Okay.
I feel on so bad say on so our power. But say omo I don't say bajuni but if you have
forward looking
now as I say who say these are the traps that you must avoid. Because the 9th parliament is going to be yes, we are moving from 8th parliament a year very unique and a bit contentious. But the 9th parliament, even though NDC has an overwhelming majority, it's not going to be a walk through the park because you have a minority that have no anything to lose, and they are going to ensure say they punch you at places. Timamufon Bomu say, you see these people we told you they are useless people. They can't do what you think they are going to do for you. But the minority, they have a simple tax. And if they will be smart about it, they can also win the fight going forward. All they have to do is to build strategic alliances with the media.
Okay. A minority for
yes. Their numbers will be like 88 though. That's why we disagree at the Parliamentary Network Africa. We disagree with the past first deputy speaker.
Okay, Joe Wise.
Joe Wise.
When Joe Osewusu.
Now, or converse support for Afenyo Marking.
Also, on your minority leader, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Indicating say their numbers are so small, and they cannot win any debate in parliament, and so they have to be the word you use, combative.
Okay.
They have to be combative,
Okay.
because their voices would have to be heard. So they have to be combative. We agree with that particular statement. Yes, they can still remain relevant even if they are two. What you have to do is make sure all the points that you are making in parliament, you are giving us alternatives,
Okay.
credible alternatives. Alternatives 1, 2, 3, and realize say Nina are credible ones. We are giving you credit. It is a 2.
Intima womo nye se ye criticize keke.
No.
Ye punch holes keke.
No.
De mumu ye ka ye nkyere se me ankase na meye no.
It should be based on something. Something that is clearly because Ghanaians, sometimes we think say Ghanaians, they do not appreciate some things. They know. They may not say it now, but they know and they understand what you are doing. Say the NDC minority. Look at what they did.
The 8th Parliament.
The 8th Parliament.
Okay.
When they changed the leadership,
Yeah.
we had a lot of people can say, "Oh, Haruna Nini Nkrofo, I mean, they are astute politicians. Why are you changing them?" and all those things. And the coaches that were sitting back, as a footballer, a coach sit down and look at his people and say, "Sa formation where am I going? Ebia ekoye ba mi nshego." Into no best some bibi said the bear or this striker be bum no
Abeshego.
It's yes, Aruna and Wayne, they are not bad. But who say the way Adena turning from 2020, now economy echo down. Perhaps this is where they can penetrate and score because defense are weak. But you know be Obeshego am I. Now Ato Forcing and Abuja and Amakofibua, they hold baby economic areas
Because we hear Amakofibua energy and around that time when also na energy about be issue with Napo issues near there. And now over Ato Forcing, former deputy finance minister, he himself a chartered accountant, an economist himself.
Yes.
It is say the election or campaign was about the economy. Nobody he will be or tear obitimi ashegu ama NDC.
Yes.
Inti no na inform leadership no mu choose at the time.
Yes. Now here it paid off because most of the things that Ato Forcing talked about the economy before it will come out, Ato Forcing will come out and say this side of the economy, I see, we are going to IMF. Oh, they'll come and deny, but 2-3 days, 1 week time, now Ajatu. Hey, then these people, they have some very good. They are thinking about the economy. They are a good pair of hands. Now, Tama, something. I think Bank of Ghana.
Yeah.
Some loss big and those things.
Yes.
Ato Forcing came out, and then the minority spoke about it, held a press conference, and gave all those things. The knee-jerk reaction from the government was that, it was a lie, it was this. But they call him Kakran, but you just say, so now, the almost goes. So, the credible alternatives, giving out the information, after Ghanaians started believing them. It's after Nyama Mobekanyina, after So if you are a minority and you are even two, and you are giving credible alternatives, you are paving a way for the people to believe you. You don't need to shout plenty and build alliances with the media civil society organization. Use the civil society to get the evidence to back what you already suspect.
I love this bit because see, say okay, maybe I no money ho say omo 88 no mo no. Omo ni media no amfa strategic ayonkofa bi. Na mo civil society a mugina ntemu a mo na mo ye credible voices no. Omo ne wo mo no mo anante a ebe ye den se wo mo nsem de be kwa akiri. There was so many in some for media and 90 years. No many more civil society for also 90 years. But was the NPP Mimbusa question is saying, how did the NPP treat the civil society community? And are you seeing a possibility of that cordiality? A ma woman name opposition for minority for the team flow now.
The NPP shot themselves in the foot because time now more bad now.
Yeah,
they had this cordial relationship with the media and then with the civil society because they leverage a lot on their research, their knowledge, and all those things. But unfortunately, when they got in, they started moving away. Of course, we always say the media and civil society are always on the side of the people. So once you move into government, the attention is more on the opposition people. Opposition people. So the civil society want to partner more with the opposition to police the executive.
Exactly.
Because power, they say power corrupts and corrupts absolutely. It means the power shall sir. Charlie, when there will be monitor, you can easily go astray. So the checks and balances, it is not for nothing. We just we want to do governance, we put parliament here, put judiciary here, no. It is because of something. Because one year is nipa as you are, you go astray. Yeah. So the media and the civil society, we look at the government to ensure they are doing the right thing. So when you are a smart opposition waiting to annex power, whilst you are doing your things well, you align with media and civil society. Civil society will give you the evidence to back, because we do research and all those things, and then the media will give you the platform. To push it. So when you do this strategic alliances, then you are putting yourself up for proper scrutiny of what the government is doing. A good you were asking, what happened? Yeah. They lost that touch with civil society. With civil society.
And even the media.
Yes.
Because we say Dr. Baumia, Nasamu Kana, in terms of post-mortem, he was like, Adeba Kwemo Mulusu election, they said media platforms, major ones, were aligned to the NDC. And Emma, woman, someone, stifled, messages named to me. And kind you can really see say even with the media and no more government no more media and shedanti
you lose touch with the media and yes media is cow. No, you lose touch with the media if you don't give media information. When media has to struggle for information, when media starts putting out Nyama because we are also there to contribute to national development. You are contributing to national development. Sometimes we feel national development. What you are doing is a very important aspect of national development. The national person because you are also helping. You are actually helping the government to succeed. And when you don't feed media with those things, now you stifle media from doing what they are supposed to do. I mean, person may carry a year be more, but some things that happened with the Anas principle and Ahmed Swale and those things. You see, say the year when young and you there's something. If I'm a journalist and you are treating another journalist badly, make sure next time when I'm looking at you, I'll look at you well.
Of course. Because all the IN now beat me the IN.
Yes. And then secondly, with the civil society organization, you used to be open with information. Now, a do baby I feel information you be so cry. The information that was was straightforward that we used to get a bit media analysis.
Decisions.
Now I say we see when we ask, it becomes an issue. Of course.
And now when you ask, it becomes an issue. And now most perspective better Montana target. Some of you civil society crowd were told some way opposition for and more regime changes ne hon kroneba bebre. But some principle here were established say a bebwa minority if say omoni media ne be nanti no money civil society na form good alliance bit me aboa no. Is the reverse also not possible? Say majority for no so hunu sa line no. Na almost say omoni media no in spite of omon numbers no bit me almost say omoni media never form strategic alliances. Na omo forthcoming with information to civil society a home for so be na be minority majority for no. And do you think they will think along that line?
Yes, so the good governance principle have some of these things going forward. The good governance principle.
Yeah.
So if you are a government in power, you have the majority and you carry along the civil society, you carry along the media. Nobody will tell you that this government is running well because information be you are giving it.
Yeah.
You are not giving ammunition to the opposition to attack you because before they will ask for it, one can say they are too.
Okay.
You are not doing any fishy things. So you are not giving them ammunition. But if you are hiding information, now they also go submarine to go and get the information. And then as somebody be 200, you have X splashes on your faces because you can't dodge it. It is plain information. You can't dodge it. But if you are being open to them, you are talking to the media, you are not lying to them. Sometimes politicians, they talk to the media
and lie.
And they think that they cannot see through what they are talking about. They know it. If you lie, they know it and they will expose you. And right now, the media in Ghana has become more sophisticated because after what you have said to them, they go back do fact checking. And that fact checking, they won't keep it in their pocket.
And sometimes
they will bring it out.
And sometimes you get live fact checking.
Yes.
No, be should tie the information for about just a chantro.
Oh, so you have to be open to them.
So for the majority, credibility matters.
Seriously.
Credibility.
Seriously.
More numbers, but how credible are you? Send no man for you more. More than see more kind of no. Nina will feed into how Omube survive in the 9th Parliament. Interesting. Now let me move you to, and we know we are not TSC, many animal in this NPP phone, so now you almost show the Ashisha Soneja, what the Janon Babo. Let's look at the leadership of the two sides of the House. Mitier, Dr. Mwakoba, who is a political scientist at KNUST, University, saying, sir, the Honorable Afenyo Markin should not have been made the minority leader. The reason is as majority leader, one, when Timi Amfane na ANC from prevented members of the side and co-independent. Emma as majority leader or Emma sitting MPs are not no more parliament to lead you more. Ekwabontin could declare some co-independent. Knowing very well, say, who implications, ebetimi aba be heti o wentimi anya ho hwe. 2, or a majority leader or the party opposition. In his thinking, one sem fatasi ebemano a minority leader BM. Any MPP4 ayeno minority leader. There is the Honorable Patricia Appiagyei in there. The former majority chief whip, the Honorable Anodompre, also Edaso. As for the majority side, let me say they are yet to come up with leaders. Let me say we no leaders in but who MPP leadership in Parliament say it is saying. Afenyo Markin, the posture, and the way or the politics, ususu say betimi the minority for na kofa and make an impact ana.
Joe, me that say bebre. The beginning of the statements now we're making say Washama some of the independent independent. I think that part, you know, it goes beyond him.
Okay.
It goes beyond him. I think it is party thing. I mean, party deficiency. Me and Rainy.
No, but Obisu betimi blame me because I vividly remember. Omo call Takrade. Ekoye, what was the occasion po? Manifesto launch na Takrade. Omo koye event bi o Takrade. Na eho ena omo satama no a majority leader in his speech can say the building of bridges over. Peace talk no atwam. Omo obian focusing on winning power and ensuring say omo betimi break the 8. At that time, the signs of Sir MPs no going independent were there. But as majority leader, Opel Muka said building bridges atwam no. Ono ankasa, it will affect his own responsibility towards the members na omadwen so because ono ankasa say building bridges is over nti bibi wo hokro betimi aye to talk people out wonye ususu say indeed quite significant.
Yes, the time I can say it goes beyond him. Like what you're saying, getting to the elections, there were so many issues within the party itself. Where some allegiances were shifting to way and now way, Baumia, Ken, so it was difficult because on Nankasa Krapono we heard rumors say. I think recently I've listened to something on Nankasa Kasi. He had a genuine difficulty. He wasn't going to support Baumia, and then. Ken Ejipon was the one he was going to support, but he had to explain to
both of them.
Both of them. So in this case, if he belongs here, and the person who is going independent belongs here, if you have indicated your position where to go to, can you come and tell me, say, me mama told this line, I shouldn't go independent. So there was genuine challenges within the party itself. So it would have been difficult for him to make any interventions in that area. But aside that, he has his strengths and he has his weaknesses. Some of the weaknesses that he brings to Parliament is being overly legal.
Okay. And when I pay issue,
yes, overly legal about issues.
This is law. This is law. This is law. And I was like, where are you going with this?
Parliament is all about law. And we haven't done any research, but I can say that some of the positions he took towards the end part of it, going to the court and bringing the court and all those things. A lot of people were not happy about it. Because, yes, what you will say to the media is there or there now. But the analysis that people will do,
and also your
because they saw that even members of the party thought that we were being overly
combative.
That is the word. I think you helped me with that. Overly combative on some of the issues. So,
I say, competition.
And if you continue to do that without having the evidence of what you are fighting for, you lose taste. But with Afenyo Makin as the leader of the 8th Parliament, because so some of us will say they have agreed on him because of what they think he has to do.
Okay.
Being the combative type.
Because now that will be relevant.
Yes. And Nankaya can say, you don't have to be overly just combative. Come to the table with something relevant, not noise. And now I say some of the things that once you are talking about it, you noticed it. say at the long run, no, he was just doing it for doing sake.
Yeah.
Well,
And right, it was so clear.
and that is not what you want to show to the people. You want to be considered as a serious
alternative
and a serious opposition. Said anytime you get up to speak, you are going to say something that is compelling, that is reasonable, because we are building a nation. But if you continue to behave this way, very soon you will get up and nobody wants to listen to you.
Interesting.
Nobody will take you serious. But be that as it may, I think, sir, there are other people in the party who could have led them on. But as we always say, Parliament is a technical place.
Yeah.
So most of the time you want to defer to people who have experience, who have the technical ability. We are talking about institutional memory and all those things. He's the immediate past leader of the group. Or one or two people who recognize him as a leader. If you bring a new person, yes, that person may not be new to parliamentary work, but to the leadership role, no, he hasn't done it.
Yeah.
So what I feel, say, will go on is, say, the very few days of parliament, the very few months, they are still continuing to look at them. Haruna Mubaya.
Yeah.
But it got to a point.
They were changed.
They realized that, no, baby, we need to change some things. So if he continues this way, and Edu baby,
and now results
now party leadership realizes that you are not really doing this thing.
No main changes. Very well. But what kind of leadership and majority for no Enya? They are yet to come up with their substantive leaders. But knowing the Senate dynamics in our church, characters bear no more share. A leader or majority for no.
So they need somebody ubia. He has the ability to approach the other side, who cuts across, who is not overly emotional. Overly emotional. Because if you are emotional, those buttons will be pushed. And when they are pushed,
he will push you.
And you burst, you'll be giving a negative impression to the group that you lead. So what you are supposed to achieve with your leadership, you will not achieve it. Even though you have the numbers. Right now you have the numbers, so you can do anything you want. But that same thing that you can do can be used against you.
You become unpopular.
Yes.
You can't become unpopular.
Yes. Because, yes, you believe that, this particular decision I am taking is the best. But even if it's the best, how do you
go
get
about
a
it?
Buy-in from the other side? Otherwise, the best decision that you are bringing can easily be twisted. The way you communicate it can easily cause that good decision to become bad. You may get your results, but at the long run, you would suffer for it. We went to court to go and get a particular decision. At the long run, we got the decision, but it was not useful to us.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
So, if you are the leader, you want to be magnanimous, you want to be responsible with your leadership, bring the others along. Even if the minority wants to walk out, present your case so compelling that even if they walk out,
they will look bad.
The citizenry will say, Mwasheda.
And majority leader no Ejumaye.
Ejumaye.
Say, obe recognizes our dynamics we na who say in spite of the numbers, there is still the possibility say numbers beat me unpopular.
Yes.
Because the minority's job is to make you unpopular. Inti say all the numbers be bulldoze your way through you so be punch holes say be magana for who say you are just doing politics and not thinking about the nation.
Yes.
Very interesting analysis of the 9th Parliament. And now what the
one small point. The speaker.
I hold na meba. Kosoma
asudi papa. Yes.
So when the Uncle Guamano, when he hang Parliament into
even this one will be more difficult for him.
Really?
Because this is going to test his character.
Okay.
It's going to test his character.
Now his party is in power.
Yes. That is the point. That is the whole point. So the minority, if they are on point, on top of their game,
Yeah.
that is the game they are going to play.
They can also trigger a lot of things out with him. Speaker Bagbin.
That is the game they are going to play. If they are on top of their game, try to punch holes into the fabric of the speaker. Now the speaker has gotten the acceptance of everybody. So Bibia or Bibiano, it will be deemed as good because he has the experience. He has superintended over the 8th Parliament, the most difficult of our era, and all those things. Now,
Test of objectivity and neutrality.
Bibia or Bibiano, it will be deemed as okay. So now the minority, what lawyers normally do, they will now punch holes into your fine garments now are building. Now they will start punching holes. Is this man really a statesman? Is this man really objective?
Or your partisan job
Is this man doing a partisan job? So he has to beat a fine line.
Wow.
Now he has an overwhelming majority on his side of his political party. We saw him in the 8th Parliament as opposition speaker. So if there is any sympathy, you want to give it to him. Because he's being treated this way because he's an opposition speaker.
Yeah. But he even got flags from his own people. The likes of Muntakamo described him as a tyrant and all of that.
Yes. So we saw him as a principled person. So now his own political party.
That is where he's
going to even get the more challenge in this parliament. Those who are going to cause him the most headache in this parliament, the opposition. The minority, yes, they will do this. But the most one is going to be his own people. Because they are overwhelming.
Pamper them.
Good.
And is it going to be overly unfair to the minority? So, interesting times ahead.
So, any decision he's going to take, is going to be a point of analysis, a point of discussion, because he's doing this because of his people. He's doing this because he wants to gain some favor from these people and all those things. So it's going to be the most difficult aspect of it. But I think that the speaker has garnered a lot of experience to be able to maneuver himself in this part.
But this also presents an opportunity to him, say, obe asserting who as indeed a statesman. Now we eschew partisanship. Now we may prove it to Ghana for say, me tehama Ghana and not my party NDC.
Exactly.